What's up, guys? We're doing a bike review today. This is Michael from Parker Michael Cycling, and I hope you are doing well. I'm here with a special guest, Joe Ringer. We're going to do a bike review today. Joe has a custom build for us. We're not going to review any of those fancy big name brands, right? It's a thumbs up, affirmative. But before we get into that, Joe, how do we know each other? You a fan of the channel?
Huge fan.
Let's go.
Michael and I
Let's
are
bring it in.
roommates.
Let's bring it in. Let's bring it in.
Michael and I are roommates.
We live together.
We do.
All right, Joe, before we get into the review, tell me a little bit about your cycling exploits. What would you say your top 3 most favorite accomplishments are? Didn't word that very well, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, let's see. I qualified for Race Across America. That's
No way.
my number 1 accomplishment. Qualified last year by riding 424 miles in 24 hours. Let's go to the review.
Alrighty, Joe, this is the bike. My first question is, why did you build this bike? What purpose does it serve?
Yeah, this is my ultra bike.
Ultra, what do you mean by that?
Like 12, 24-hour races. I think ultra is defined as any race over 100 miles.
Over 100 miles, ladies and gentlemen.
Yep, so I'm doing that on this bike.
And what about that bike? Obviously the aero bars here.
Yeah.
What else makes it an ultra bike?
I mean, partially the raw titanium frame. That's definitely a big part of it.
Look at that, guys.
Titanium, it's very compliant.
That's a thumbnail.
It's, it has the ride of steel, so it's nice and compliant, and it's lightweight.
Let's go.
So that's the biggest factor about it. I mean, being an ultra bike. It does have aero bars. It's got multiple hand positions on it, so if I get tired in one hand position, I can move my arms on the aero bars or onto the hoods. Of course, they are faster than just standard road bars.
All right. That's a good little description and overview. Now let's get into the technical nitty gritty. All right, Joe, some of these technical bits. I think we don't want to get too GCN with this. However, I think it's worth going over some of the specifics. So let's start with the drivetrain. Here's this big chainring. What do you have to say about this?
So it's full Shimano Ultegra R8000 minus the front wheel. It's got compact gearing, so 50-34 in the front, and I've got 11-28 in the cassette there. It's not perfect or ideal for riding around here in Bloomington, but
Why is that? Because it's hilly?
it's hilly. Yeah, I just don't have enough for going uphill.
And my guess is most ultra races are not quite hilly.
Yeah, they are super flat.
Super
You
flat.
have some ultra races like multi-day, like Race Across the West or Race Across America that is very up and down in some sections, but most of the races I do are pancake flat, so you don't really need gearing for.
All right. Tell me a little bit about the brakes and the wheels here. Obviously, when I see this bike here, I'm like, all right, look at the titanium. Look, I can even see myself. Oh, yeah, we got Ultegra, but we got the Chabon.
Yeah, so those
Bam.
are. So definitely one of my goals for this bike when I was building it up was to have some color on it.
Right.
With raw titanium and the Ultegra group, it's all black and silver, and I wanted some pop. So I found these Cane Creek brakes. I am an avid explorer of AliExpress, and I found those on AliExpress.
AliExpress.
They're replicas of the name brand, of the genuine things.
All right, last but not least in our technical overview is the cockpit.
Yep.
Tell me a little about Joe. Why is this special? Why did you choose to build your bike this way? And I just interrupted you.
I mean, cockpit's going to be the most important part of a bike if you're, looking at ultra racing. You got all the different hand positions, and it's where you're going to be spending most of your time. Aside from the saddle, yeah. But I chose to go narrow on the handlebars, narrow-ish. They're 36 centimeter Bontrager bars.
Got a little bit of a tilt in there.
Yeah, we've got the canted-in levers to make it a little more narrow, a little more comfy for me. And then on top of that, yeah, we've got the aero bar extensions there. They're profile design base bars. They're just clip-on bars. And then we've got KOC Velo extensions there.
All right, Joe, we are here on a new background, new set. So we were just discussing some pros and cons, or maybe we would say 3 things you like about the bike, 3 things you would change. So let's start about the things you would change about the bike.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, it's rim brake.
Yeah, we sort of touched on that.
Yeah, if I was able to, I'd switch to disc. I mean, it's compatible with a lot more parts on the market today.
Where are the discs at?
Yeah.
All right, what's the second thing?
Second, I mean, if it was more aero, that'd be great. It's all round tubes on the bike.
Yeah.
You know, that's mostly how they fabricate titanium frames.
Merlin.
That's always kind of how they've done it. It's, you know, it's supposed to be compliant, which is what it would be in the old days, but now there's some carbon frames with form of compliance in terms of suspension, you know, on the front fork, or suspension in the seat tube there, you know, so.
Okay, and the third thing?
Third thing I would change, that's a good question.
Maybe nothing. Maybe it's just
Maybe
two.
nothing. You know what? I just love this bike. It's custom. You know, I made it my own. I guess we're moving into pros now.
I was about to say, that should be more of a validation to people, to perhaps, assuming they have the finances, and maybe that's not as much of an issue as you think,
Yeah,
you can build your own bike.
Yeah, so I built this myself on a budget, of course. A lot of the parts I sourced from AliExpress, which I think we'll touch on in a second here. But yeah, I made this my own, sourced parts, and built it up the way I wanted. It's been great. You know, I've put tons and tons of miles on it. It's 100% the bike it's made me fall in love with cycling.
Any specifics, any specific decisions you made on this bike that you would perhaps encourage other people to perhaps forward into on their custom bike journey? So what pros do you think you could share with other people?
In terms of building your own bike?
Yeah. What do you like about it?
What do I like about it?
That you couldn't otherwise get custom.
I like that it's mine. I don't know.
Personal.
It's
personal.
Yeah, I've made it. Aside from maybe the wheels, which are
oh yeah, you can't.
They're aluminum. Those. I used to have carbon on there with some tan walls. I mean, aside from those, like, I made it my own. It's been a great bike. It's
Joe's bike. It's no one else's.
Yeah, and I made it the colors I want and made it the look I want. So I get to ride in style.
Enough said.
Yeah.
All right. All right, we're going to take a seat. So, Joe, you're one of the only people I know that has built an entirely custom bike. Now, that exhibits a lot of characters of initiative, tenacity, definitely patience. What roughly five things, it doesn't have to be that many, what would you recommend to a viewer that said, hey, you know what, Joe, I'm inspired. I want to build my own bike. What are some things I can do to make it a little bit easier of a journey?
Right. Well, one of the problems I ran into actually a few times while I was building up the bike was compatibility with different parts. So I'd say if you're ordering online, which I did a lot of, make sure you're double checking, triple checking compatibility. Is the seat post the correct size? Will this oversized pulley wheel fit the derailleur that I have? Is it short cage, medium cage, long cage?
Sure.
A lot of that stuff, I would double check, triple check. Otherwise, you'll be paying in the future when you receive the part, oh, this isn't the right part, or, of course, it's going to be draining your bank account. Second of all, enjoy it. I mean, You
enjoy this bike?
Yeah, well, enjoy building it up.
I see.
Finding the parts that you want, finding the look that you want, right? I mean,
you'd also have to say that you perhaps have some skills in mechanicking and servicing your own bikes as well.
Yes, yeah. So when I built this up, part of the reason I did it was because I was working at a shop and I had the people around me to help me out when I was building this up.
The means and the expertise.
Exactly, yep. And one more thing I'd recommend if you are building up your own bike, I would say if you are ordering online, check the reviews, of whatever part you're buying. Because, if you buy a used part, right, if you're on a budget, there's a chance that part might be, toasted. So check the reviews of the seller.
Sure.
Or if you're buying brand new, check the reviews on the website. That'll save you some hassle too.
All right, everybody. I had a fun time with this bike review. Joe, did you have a fun time?
It was good.
You want to be on the channel again?
Sure.
Yeah, this is good.
Maybe we got a review.
Oh, we got a lot of good stuff coming. Yeah, this is such a cool bike. If you get the opportunity just to see a custom bike around, there's a lot of personal pride that comes with those kind of things. And I think that's more worthwhile than a lot of things. So, yes, Joe, this is always a pleasure. We got some fun stuff coming to the channel. The sun is in my face. We got some perhaps hill review coming up. We got a couple races and rides coming up. You never know. Keep a lookout, yeah? Any closing remarks?
Keep the rubber side down.
All right, boy. All right. See you later. Peace.